Hey, welcome back to another day with Stevo with locks. Hey, all right, this is my client Lisa. She's been having her locks for a long time. I've known Lisa probably, I would say 4 or 5 years, right? At least?
Yeah, about 5 years.
About 5 years.
Yep.
I didn't start her locks, but I have cared for her locks for 5 years off and on. So, Lisa came booked the day she wanted to get a trim. This is most people's fear when it comes to lock. I feel like we think sometimes our hair is not going to grow, and then we're so surprised once we get locks how long it actually grows from us, making it into a dreadlock or whatever. So a lot of people are scared to cut, but our hair is actually like a plant. Sometimes it does need to be pruned, and when we cut our hair will generate new growth. Like I cut my hair about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and it was shorter than this, and it's actually grown more. So something about taking that weight off of the follicle is good. So don't be scared of change. This is where she's kind of like starting at right here. You can see her longest lock. She's touching the hip almost to the crack. Probably is at the crack. So we're going to cut her locks. Don't be scared to cut them. You may have to adjust some. Now, most people might think with locks that you're just going to go straight across and do a blunt cut. No, you don't do that. I'm trying to control her length, so I'm going to do that. It's a random cut. But this is her locks. This is the first part of it, and then I'm going to go through and refine. But since you're not paying me, I'm like a chef. I'm not going to give you all my secrets. Sorry. Tune in for more. So we made the necessary adjustments. As you can guess by now, I'm piecing this together. So here's how it hangs in the front. You want to cross and make sure when you do a good cut how it's going to hang for your client in the front. Try to make sure that it's balanced. Remember, locks are not a balance. They're sporadic in the growth, so you want to make sure that it looks natural. Then here is the back from the last picture. So we come from up here, from down here. So we cook off quite a bit of hair, a little bit at a time. And as you can see, here's the result on the floor. And now we will shampoo her hair. Come on, sit down. So with my clients, shampooing is very important. As you can see, Lisa's got a little bit of new growth. So she's a busy mother. Mother of how many kids?
Three. Yep, three.
Keeps her busy, on her toes. And she's also a wife, so she has lots of stuff to do. And she's also active in her community, doing different things.
And 18 jobs.
And 18 jobs. So, I'm probably dating myself, but in living color, y'all remember the Jamaican people, right?
Yep.
Hey, man, how many jobs you got, man? Take your glasses off, man.
Okay.
So we're gonna adjust this so y'all can see. This is low budget film. I don't have a cameraman. So, I will tell you guys how to shampoo properly. First thing you want to do, this will kind of help you because money is scarce for all of us. As we know, locks take a lot of everything. They like sponges. They drink up the water. They drink up the shampoo. And if you've ever locked your hair before in the shower, what happens? It's so freaking heavy. And so the first thing you want to do is check that water temperature. Is the temperature okay?
Yes,
Okay. And you want to saturate the hair. Try to saturate it, get it nice and wet. Because depending on how good your shampoo is, it's not going to work. I should have showed you how my shampoo works in dry hair. So, once again, as I always say, until I get a check, I ain't promoting no brands, no shampoos, no nothing. So don't ask me on my video, what do you use and what product should I get? I'm not promoting anything because I don't get paid for it and I don't have my own product. I'd rather use other people's. It's a lot of work when you create your own product and then you gotta do marketing and all of that. And I don't have a love for that. I have a love for doing hair. So you wanna get that scalp saturated. But after I get the scalp saturated, I like to start on the ends. I wanna make sure I shampoo my client's hair from scalp to end and get all the residue out. As you can see, it's a lot of shampoo that I'm squeezing. I could have probably washed what I put in her head right now. I could probably wash 3 or 4 people. So as you see, more shampoo. And then when the hair is long and it's thick, it just sucks it up. But you want to get a good lather when you're shampooing and make sure that you're cleansing and cleaning that person's hair. So like I said, I start here. Start with the ends. Get those good. And then I come back to the scalp. And when you shampoo, this is the most important part of your service. You want to make sure that person, you're getting them relaxed and you're getting in there in their scalp. I know everybody is different. They'll let you know if you're shampooing them too hard. But you can see by her face, she is enjoying her shampoo.
I am.
Relaxation. So that's the first shampoo. Try to get out all residue, anything that she's had in her hair, grease, oil, holding gel, or whatever it is from the last twist. And you also, like I said at first, locks hold on a lot of, they hold on to stuff. And just like a sponge or a mop, we got to wring that hair and get all that hair out. So you see all of that suds in the bow. So for me, to be productive, she still got some on her ends. I'm not worried about that because I scrub those really good. Now her hair, if you can hear it, I'm shut up. Hopefully that comes across. It's like squeaky clean, right? So I've stripped her hair. I've taken all of the moisture out of her hair to get all the dirt out. Now I'm doing hydrating shampoo. And I'm putting hydrating, moisturizing. I'm putting moisture back into her hair. No, the shampoo is not called hydrating. It's just, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get her hair back, moisture, and hydrate the hair of her hair and get her, put some moisture back into her hair. Whatever you take out, you have to put back in. Number one nugget, a lot of y'all think that putting conditioner on locks. What does conditioner do? It softens. Natural hair, well, let me back up, because natural means untouched. Most locks may have color, which is a chemical. When you do relaxers and stuff like that, you strip in the bonds, the hydrogen bonds out of the hair. Her hair is high in hydrogen bonds because we haven't really stripped a whole lot of anything out of her hair. So even though she needs hydration, I don't want to put too much like conditioner back in her hair because the conditioner is going to soften, and I don't want her hair to come out of the mat of the lock. See how that's coming out? But some of that could just be new growth from maybe washing and going and not having it twisted back up. So I'm going to have to put that out. But I don't want her hair to be frizzy. I always want her hair to be where it's at and where it lives at. I don't want to have to stretch it. I don't have to go in here with a comb and retwist and break her hair. I don't do that. I use my fingers and mold it back in. Because at the naked eye, I can't see every piece of hair. So if I keep breaking those pieces of hair right around this perimeter, what's going to happen is what? Eventually that's going to get thin, because if your hair starts breaking and you have a split end, what happens? It keeps breaking and it keeps breaking back. Then the weight of her locks will be pulling up against her hair, and so then her roots and stuff will get thin. So that's my logic about not using the comb. To each his own. I see a lot on social media about cleaning out parts and yada yada yada, but that's not me. I'm really into healthy hair, hydration of the hair, the pH level of the hair. All of those things you should know if you're fooling with somebody's hair. Like I always say, I'm not hating on the bootlegger because that's how I started, but When I went to school, I found out the importance of a lot of things that I was doing wasn't wrong. And one of the things is if you're fooling with somebody's hair, you should understand the hair follicle. And if you don't understand the hair follicle, you need not to be trying to charge people money to do their hair, because you may be doing more damage to the hair than you should. Can locks cause alopecia? Absolutely. Everybody's hair is different. Everybody don't have the same density. Everybody don't have the same porosity. And everybody's hair is different. And everybody has a different texture of hair. So as you can see, I've washed her hair twice. I've rinsed it thoroughly. And I'm going to let you see the water. It's coming down. Try to, if I can adjust this some for you. See what it's doing. Trying to make sure you can see into the bowl. Pull that up. And she doesn't, I've got all of the soap off. And sometimes you may have to lower the temperature, just like when you're washing dishes. Sometimes warm water creates more soap. And we still got a little bit in there. So you want to make sure so that water runs kind of clear, to make sure you got all of that soap out. Because soap residue can build up in a person's lock, and then their lock can look casty as well as putting too much chemicals and stuff in the hair. And when I say chemicals, I'm talking about locking gels and stuff like that. You want to use something that's water soluble, so whatever you put in the hair, it should be able to wash out easily or rinse out. If it's holding into the hair, it's too heavy, you don't want to use it. Your hair is like a plant. I've said it 1,001 times on all my videos. You don't want to weigh it down with a lot of stuff. Whatever you do to your hair, it's going to always be hair. Whether it's a flat arm, whether it's a retwist, whether you're putting a perm in it, whether you're putting a weave in it, it's still hair. There's still roots to that hair. It's still doing it, and you still got to treat it good. If you don't treat it good, what happens? You don't have it. So, you see, we got just bubbles from the water, but the water is clear, as you see. There's no residue in there. Her hair is clean. That's her hair squeaking. Hopefully the iPhone picked that up. And then the next thing is, as you see, ringing water. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Another day with Stevo with locks. Appreciate you. I hope this was educational for you. And today work hard, stay humble, and if you can, uplift somebody else and do something for somebody else. Remember the time when you didn't have something, give back to somebody else. Because in the circle of life, it comes back around. Be blessed. Thanks. You can bring it in. All right, I'm back. I wanted to show how I twist hair. You know, there's many ways to make a chocolate cake, or there's many ways to get to Louisville, Kentucky. Many routes. And there's many routes to get here to a certain point. But this is my method, my best way, I feel. Now I take the locking gel and I put it at the root. And I take my fingers and I retwist the hair down. So I'll show you this again. I separate as much as I can. I'm not worried about breaking all of these hairs right here, because if I start breaking hairs, it causes split ends. It also causes even more frizz on your client. So I try to marry the hair back in as much as I possibly can, and I twist. Every lock needs something different. Sometimes the lock needs to be palm roll. Sometimes it just needs your finger. You have to know what you're doing to be able to do that. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Like I said, I'm not trying to break her hair. Her hair is strong and healthy. She's had these locks for over 6 years or 7 years or more. She's had it cut, she's had it bleached, she's had it colored, and her hair is still on her head, and she still has density and she still has thickness. That's because she's been taking care of her hair, and we haven't been ripping her hair out with a comb. And we watch what products and stuff that we put into her hair. So when you're twisting, Just like Play-Doh as a kid, you can over palm roll, and you also can wind the hair up too tight. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing. And sometimes you have to nurture that hair. If the hair is fine in areas, you don't want to over twist the hair where it's real fine at, because it can't take all of that tension. So even though you're trying to always, the name of the game, you never stop locking. You're always coming in and out of the locking process, because this part is locked. And the name of the game is you're marrying the new growth back into the extension of the lock. And that's what we're doing, So that's why maintenance is so important, You separate. And even though there is some, because our hair is curly, like if you took a bunch of slingies and put them in a box together and they were loose, they're going to do what? They're going to get tangled. And our curls get tangled. Your hair is not nappy. Do not take that negative comment towards your hair. Strings, if you put a bunch of strings together that are loose, a bunch of shoelaces, what happens? They're going to get tangled up. If it's straight hair, what's going to happen? It's going to get tangled. So why does what you call good hair or straight hair, it gets tangled, and your curls get tangled? There's nothing about anybody's hair that's nappy or bad or in a negative way. Because when we hear that word, to me it comes with a tone of being negative, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come with anything positive.
Right.
We have most of the beautifulest hair. And I hate to go racist, well, I'm not racist. I'm just stating the fact. Slavery and stuff like that, we did a lot of things to our hair. And we still do, to try to fit into a European culture or the way we think our hair should be. And it's so trippy, man, because even my Caucasian friends, they wearing extensions trying to get their hair longer. They trying to get highlights because somebody said it's blue eyes and blonde hair, or it's straight hair. Then my African Americans, queens, they're trying to put weave in their hair, leave some of it out, mesh their hair up, and straighten and burning their hair out, trying to blend it in to mess with this synthetic hair or human hair or whatever texture hair that they got in their head. So we all have our things that we do. There's nothing about, we use words, but sometimes I don't think we use them in the right context. But I didn't start this English language. I think it was adopted from England or something. An American language adopted from England or something like that. Look it up. I might not be in the ballpark, but when we think about things and we say, oh, my hair is natural, there's nothing natural about her hair, because I manipulated her hair to do this. Natural means untouched. So what we're doing is manipulating her hair when it's wet, twisting it back to get it to shape and to marry it in to go into a lock formation. Chemistry is going to always be chemistry. We know in science that water is a chemical. We know that shampoo is a chemical. We know that hair grease is a chemical. We know that locking gel is a chemical. Relax is a chemical. So how are you going to be natural? You can say I'm relaxer free, but we all do things to manipulate our hair. I don't care what texture it is. If you have whatever you may consider good hair, if they flat on it, it's not in its natural state. If they blow dry it out to get it straight, it's not in its natural state. Because when you put heat on any texture hair, what does it do? It straightens and it elongates it, So just wanted to put that nugget in there. But this is how I twist. I don't use a comb. I believe the hair should be parted in section where it grows. It's just like if you raise your arm out, you can raise your arm out like this for a while, but after a while what happens is tension. And if you remember, whenever you put your hair in a ponytail, if your hair is pulled back all the time, which I have a bad habit, the hair has to travel from here back to here. So there's going to be tension on the hair. And if there's tension on the hair, then it's going to start to thin or it might start to snap. So we have to do things in moderation. Whatever state that you have your hair in, remember your hair is a piece of fabric. And treat it as such, care for it as such. Even your body and your temple, your body can only take so much wear and tear. And then after a while, if you give your body a lot of wear and tear, what happens? It breaks down. And our hair is the same way. Every part on our body is. So care for your hair, handle it with love, and what we put into anything is what we're going to get out of it. So it's up to you. So what you want to put in your hair, how you want to do your hair, whether you listen to me or whether you don't, I don't care. I'm just sharing information, you know, and just this is just a conversation about twisting hair. And sometimes when you twist, the hair gets dry. This is not required. You don't need this. But back in the old days, if any of you guys remember, we used to use setting lotion all the time, and we always had a liquid setting lotion, and the liquid setting lotion would run. It was a way to re-wet our hair to help it, because when hair gets wet, it expands and it's pliable. So you would wet that hair, put the paper on it, and have that tension, and to put it into a roller and put it under the dryer. This is pretty much the same thing. The dreadlock, you're rolling that hair back in and marrying that hair back in by twisting it, pound rolling, winding it up so it'll set and grow into the form of the lock. So it's not that much difference from it, but the setting lotion with the foam, it's nothing more than control. Because you remember back in the day when they sprayed it all over you, it used to be running down your face and everything. So people are like, oh, I gotta get the foam. What is the foam? No, you're tripping. It's just nothing but setting lotion. I could do the same thing if I had a bottle of water and put the water in it. But most of the setting lotion, sometimes it has some smoothing agencies in it or something like that. Some people like different setting lotions than others. Then there's some might have maybe a little bit heavier. But you have to look out for your product and see what your ingredients is. You don't want to use a whole lot of heavy stuff, but it's just there to help you to be able to re-wet that hair so you can be able to apply the hair into the shape or the form that you want it to be in. That's all that it is. It's nothing that you gotta have, And you know how we do sometimes when we don't have stuff, be like, well, I didn't have no locking gel. I just put some water, a little bit of oil and some grease, Can that be a good way to twist your hair? I say yes and no. Depends on how heavy the grease is. You know what I'm saying? The locking gel that I use has argan oil in it, and then it has some holding properties. But remember, your scalp has to breathe. And remember, nothing takes place in your scalp being cleansed all the time. I mean, being cleansed in shampoo. Remember, we washed and cleansed her hair. And before we started twisting, so her scalp could breathe. But I don't want to put a lot of heavy stuff on her scalp because I want her scalp to be able to breathe, and her pores to be able to be opened up. I'm dealing with this hair. I'm just trying to get this hair to hold in a set, to smooth out the hair and roll it up so it's not coming together like this in an afro form. We're trying to keep, when we originally started the locks, you're trying to keep those locks separated and where they all are formed and married in. But if you don't, what happens is when the hair is spongy, it starts getting a fro, it grows. And then you can't see the scalp. So then when somebody comes back in, we have to break this hair to get it back in. And that also can cause weakness. So your most important thing is, if you shampoo your hair, you got to retwist your locks back in. If you don't, eventually you'll probably either wind up losing a lot or your locks will wind up breaking because you've torn so much and you only have so much hair. And the strength, the stability, and the flat form of this lock is at your scalp. The hair coming at your scalp has to be connected to the hair up underneath your scalp. The only thing living when it comes to hair is the hair up under your scalp. Really, we say dead hair and split ends, but our hair coming out is really dead. The only thing is living up underneath. Your hair bud is down up under your scalp, and it has 4 different stages of growth. Look it up. One of them is shedding. We shed thousands of pieces of hair today. And also you think, well, do I have locks on my locks? Yeah, your hair is still going to shed when you shampoo it because you haven't combed it. It's going to shed, fall in the sink. Sometimes your hair sheds inside of this little tube that you created for a lock, and then sometimes it sheds on the floor or on the pillow. Hair is hair. It's going to operate the same way. I don't care what you do to it. You relax it, it's going to shed, it's going to break. When you rearrange those bonds, what you're trying to do, fill the bonds back in with conditioner and different stuff like that. But with locks, to be honest with you, my outlook on it is it's nothing more than a hairball that we're trying to net into a lock. That's why you talk about when you think about freeform and you think about Marley locks and Rasta locks, they don't cure, but I'm not going to go all into that, but and because I think those locks are beautiful, but we have different styles, from locks to afro puffs to braids, whatever your desire is, you do you. You only get one life.
So
And
true.
as far as I know, we only come through this way one time. So let's do the best thing we know to do. And as Oprah always says, but I think she got it from Maya Angelou, but I don't know. But she always says, when you know better, do better. So when we know better, we do better if we choose to. So sometimes it's not that we don't know, it's just we hard-headed and we want to do it our way. All right, thank you for joining me again. And have a blessed day. Happy Friday.